What is up, Bucs Nation? It is Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. You're watching the Loose Cannons. I'm your boy Sam. We're hanging out with Stanker. No latte tonight. He's got to be at a really cool, famous person's performance tonight. So, he's kind of big timing us now. Anyway, it is week 9. The Bucs travel to the Houston Texans this week, Stank. Listen, they're both 2, 3, and 4 teams. One team's on a 3-game losing streak, as we know. The other team has its own struggles. They've got some positives to hang their hat on. The Bucs haven't had too many of those over the last 3 weeks. Have we finally arrived to must-win island, as I like to call it? Week 9, the Bucs, in my opinion, have arrived at must-win island. It is time that they got to win this game, man. They don't have a choice but to win this game. Up to this point, not up to this point, up until the Falcons game, they've won every single game they were supposed to win, right? They hadn't disappointed us yet, which is kind of the least minimum that you can ask of your team as an NFL fan. Don't disappoint me, win the ones you're supposed to win, and maybe get lucky at the other ones that you're not supposed to win. You steal a few here or there. The Bucs, up until that Falcons game, had done that. This is one of those games. They're supposed to win this game. They should win this game, and if they are a good team and they have pride and they want to be a team that wins this division, even though it's an AFC opponent, they must win this game. What do you think?
I like how you asked a question and then answered your own question.
That's how it works with me. You know that.
What the fuck?
My opinion matters more than yours, especially when I ask a question.
Okay, I even forgot what the question was. What was the question? Because I zoned out. As soon as you bypassed me, I completely zoned out.
Is it finally a must-win game, Stank?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. It's a must-win game. If we lose to Houston and it's 4 straight losses, I don't care how much you like this coaching staff. I don't care how much we love Coach Bowles. Questions are gonna be flying all over the place. If a huge fire is gonna get lit under Todd, under this entire coaching staff, and then Jason Light's going to have to answer some questions he doesn't necessarily want to answer. I don't care about excuses. I'm too old. As you know, I've been a Bucs fan for like 75 years now. I don't really care anymore about the excuses. You can point fingers. It's Baker. It's Canales. I don't care whose problem it is. Fix it. Figure it out. Right? You guys just going at each other on Twitter. Shut up. How about that? Shut the fuck up. Everybody in the chat room right now, shut the fuck up, okay? We just need to win this game against Houston, okay? They shouldn't even have a football team, all right? What have they ever done? What have they ever won?
It's a team with a rookie quarterback too, Stan. Yeah, I agree with you. They're like, up until this point, you could accept an excuse for a loss, right? Here and there. You could say, all right, we lost to the Falcons game because this and that. But if we're being honest, over the last 3 weeks, 2 of those games are games we should lose. 1 of them we should win. But every single one of those games we could have won. Yeah. And so the excuses felt kind of shallow, right? But you can accept them to an extent. But this week, there is no excuse to lose this game. There just isn't. There's no way you're going to tell me that you're a good team. Not a great team, just a good team. And you cannot beat the Texans with their rookie quarterback, who, by the way, I have circled as the gem of the rookie quarterbacks up to this point, and I do think that'll continue on. He's playing ridiculously well. He's actually really good against the blitz. He knows how to get the ball out. He's confident. He's got a ridiculous football IQ. Doesn't matter. Get to him. Win this game. Figure out a way to win this game. I don't care if it's 9-8. Win this game. It's a Stank score. You got to win this game. There's no way around it, Stank. There's no way. There's
no way around explaining your way out of losing it. There's no way around of playing soft coverage on a rookie quarterback. There's no way around letting the guy kind of just be comfortable back there and do whatever the fuck he wants. There's no way around not attacking on offense and putting pressure on the opposing defense and trying to put points on board. Like if you're a defensive coach and you stand on the fact that you're and you've proven at times you are a defensive genius.
You forgot what you were going to say.
No. I'm trying to get to my point without being mean, okay? But listen, Todd Bowles has a pedigree here. He's supposed to make Stroud look like shit in this game. He's supposed to, right? Right? You can't just be scared. And I heard him answer the question the other day in the press conference, and it pissed me off a little bit. They said, I think it was J.C. Allen who asked questions. You got these corners who are your starting two corners play press really well. And Todd was like, well, but the other guys don't necessarily play press very well. And so you're protecting other guys. And in doing so, you're cutting the legs off of your corners. And they look like shit back there in zone. Nobody's communicating. Your middle linebackers running around like he doesn't give a fuck, right? I've been very nice to Devin White. Very, very nice to Devin White. These last couple games, he doesn't look like he gives a fuck. And really, I think the defense is sick of carrying the load and getting kicked in the fucking teeth and being on the field the entire game. And, the offense is just not getting up to speed. And you could have a little bit of a wedge in this team. Like you got a guy like Baker who's known for his moxie. That shit wears thin really quick. The last thing you want to hear in the locker room after losing 3 straight is a guy thumping his chest and talking a big game when on Sundays they can barely scratch out, 2 touchdowns in a game. So I'm tired of the talk. I just want to see them put together all 3 phases, put together a good game. We should beat the Texans, but the Texans beat the Jaguars handily. The Texans beat the Steelers handily. So really, should we beat the Texans? Or maybe.
But then they lose to the Panthers pretty ugly. Mm-hmm. They didn't look that great. I believe Stroud finally threw his first interception. So, they're an up and down team. They're a young team. They have a new head coach who I think is going to be a good head coach at the end of it all. He's got a pretty good defense. They're very elite at getting to the passer. Like, we're not going to pretend that this is a franchise Houston, a new franchise in the Houston Texans back in the day. This is a good defensive line. They get to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then you got C.J. Stroud, like I talked about earlier. He's really good against the blitz because I guess once you send all those extra guys and you remove a lot of the questions in the secondary and in coverage, it's making it very easy for him because he's very smart. So he's able to see one-on-ones and he gets the ball out quick. He doesn't hold on to the ball too long. He's doing a lot of things that rookie quarterbacks don't do, Stank.
Right.
And so against the Bucs, who by the way are I think 3rd or 4th in the league in blitz percentage, but with that being said, they're 32nd in quarterback pressure percentage.
That's terrible.
Which doesn't add up, right? So that means you're sending guys, and even with extras, you're not getting there. So that also is going to be something to watch, because if we're sending guys against a quarterback who's very good against guys who are in his phase, and we're also not getting there, it's a recipe for disaster. I'd rather see us get exotic in our coverages. I'd rather see us send 1 or 2 guys as opposed to, the kitchen sink that you usually see against rookie quarterbacks. And I know you have PTSD, Stank, because you're one of those guys that when we face rookie quarterbacks, oh, this happens. When we face backup quarterbacks, oh, this happens. We make everybody look like Joe Montana when they're actually not. All of those things. And what's funny is that since Todd Bowles has been here, they're only 7-4 against rookie quarterbacks, which is not something that's really great because rookie quarterbacks over the last, 10 years haven't been phenomenal right off the gate, right? They kind of been average. There's been some Joe Burrow moments. There's been some, it's not Brock Purdy back there every time you throw a rookie in.
I don't know what the infatuation with worrying about getting beat over the top is and worrying about giving up the big plays. We're giving up the big plays in zone. So who cares? At this point, who gives a fuck? Play some man-to-man. Get beat a couple times. I don't really give a shit because safety back there has no clue what the fuck he's doing. So simplify things for that guy because clearly in zone he has no idea what his responsibility is. He's looking one way and running the other. We've got just B team, C team, tier 5 receivers just doing whatever the fuck they want against us. It's not even like we're getting beat by Diggs and the big guys last week.
It's the other guys. It's the other guys.
Yeah, it's the other guys that are just rolling over us. Obviously, it all starts up front. We're not getting any pressure before. We're not really getting pressure when Bowles is designing exotics. Those aren't getting there either. We got beat by a quarterback who just got benched in Atlanta 2 weeks ago. And, although he fumbled fucking 17 times, we still, gave that guy.
He tried to lose the game. He couldn't take it.
He tried to. We really tried to give us the game. And we just let him, at the end of the game, just march down the field and get coup. And I'm still really, really salty about that game in particular. But I don't know. I don't care anymore. Tom Brady's gone. Snake. Bruce Arians is gone. All of the goodwill that they earned in those 3 years, that doesn't even matter anymore. This is a completely different team. And 3-1, we felt like, man, this team is going to shock some people. Instead, what they did is they came back down to earth and proved all the pundits correct that they're not ready for prime time. It's a bit of a fucking mess. We look old. We look slow. We look uninterested. We're beating ourselves. I don't know. You can say it's PTSD. I don't even feel like I'm being negative just for being negative's sake. Like, they better pull out his fucking tailspin. This is a must-win game, as you started the show. It is. If you don't win this game, you're in big fucking trouble. As much as I hate the Saints, they look pretty fucking good last week. And they're playing a Chicago team that has a nobody at quarterback. At least the Saints can actually fucking count on their defense to keep the game close instead of doing whatever the fuck we've been doing out there. So they could very easily take the lead in this division if we continue to fucking falter, which I would fucking hate to see, obviously.
Well, so here's what's funny to me, right? And so this is kind of the next thing we're going to touch on. It would naturally happen there. We blitz a lot, but we don't get there, which to me doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Usually when you see the teams that get their guys on the line of scrimmage and attack you, it's math at that point, right? I have more guys than you have guys to block my guys. I should get to the quarterback. It's not like we're facing Michael Vick to where we're getting there and he's escaping. These guys just are getting time back there regardless of who we send. So I don't understand what's happening there. But talking about this game, we're going against a team in the Texans that I think are on their third center this year. Yeah. They have, I think, injuries across the board on the offensive line. I mean, these guys are not even supposed to be playing, yet they are starters because of injuries. And they have a rookie quarterback behind them, right? This is the get-right game for this defensive line that looked promising at the beginning of the year. They were in the top of the top 5 in sacks, quarterback hurries, pressures, all of that. And it all kind of started to go, it fell off after the bye week, right? This team can get right against this offensive line. They don't necessarily have to even be exotic. Just beat your guy. Vita Vea playing in this game will be massive. Having Kalijah Kancey next to him, who I think can obviously beat this center that nobody even knows the name of. Vita Vea should be able to beat this guy as well. Shaq Barrett should be able to get home. Doesn't matter if he's getting help or not. You don't need to get exotic with this
not if we're playing 10 yards off the ball. Not if we're playing 10, because if we just allow Stroud to just pick us apart.
But it goes hand in hand. If they get there quickly, then he can't get rid of the ball. But if he's got easy throws he can make under 3 seconds.
Playing press also buys your front a little extra time to get there. Yeah, you run the risk of getting beat over the top, but who cares at this point? By the way, the chat is on fire. All of our families in here. Jonas, Buck with your girl. Bucs by fucking 30. P&P, Susan, Mattfish, Matt Fish. I can never say your fucking name, bro. That's how dyslexic I am. Whatever you're
Mattfish
Mud, King Cook, Greg De Cruz. Hey, Greg, can I get like 39 cents in Canadian again today, please? Because I got some I got to go buy some candy. I ran out.
Nah, that might actually be a little bit more expensive than 39 cents. But no, man, this is a game that other teams get sacks against these types of squads, right? The guys that don't have the guys up front, they don't have the hogs. And what we always talk about, Stank, you win these games in the trenches. Well, here you go. This is trenches win on a fucking silver platter for this Bucs team. Todd Bowles had a mini bye week. All right, when I'm talking about the offensive side, the defense has had their mini bye. They should have looked in the mirror. They should have figured some things out. Maybe D. Delaney's the starter. Who knows? He's been kind of hinting some things on Twitter, or he's just really, really, really religious all the time, which is not a problem either. But there's got to be something that changes from what we saw in the Bills game to now. We've got to see something different. And I will say one thing. Remember when we had Shaq on in the offseason?
Yep.
And he said, we could be really good on defense, but at some point, the way the offense moves and doesn't move the ball affects how we get played because teams don't have to throw the ball, don't have to take risks, can take what we give them and kind of just move the ball at their own pace because they don't have to feel the pressure from the other side of the ball on our team. That is definitely happening here. Teams don't have to feel pressure when they face us on offense. If we don't give them the chunk plays, they don't have to take the chunk plays. They can be patient and okay being patient. And so this is 4 sacks is minimum expectation here, Stank, right? Yeah. I don't see why every one of these guys doesn't have 1.5 to 2 sacks. You can't go into a game with these scrubs at O-line and not just dominate them. You got to win this in the trenches this week. Gotta. This is another must win.
The Texans know that, right? They're going to do everything in their power to protect that O-line. They're going to move Stroud around quite a bit. They're going to do all the tricks, and we should know that, right? Bowles should know exactly how to handle something like that. They only have I can't even tell you who they're outside of Pierce. I can't even tell you who their weapons are. I think they got a pretty decent tight end.
They have a guy. They have a wide receiver.
Does Andre Johnson still play for them?
No, they have a wide receiver named Tank, who is a stud.
Okay.
I believe he's a rookie or second-year guy. He's a weapon, but he's not the size or the speed type of weapon that should give Jamel Dean or Carlton Davis any problems. Shouldn't give Izzy any problems. He's a good wide receiver, don't get me wrong, but we have our strengths on the corners in the secondary. It's just how do we play as a team? How are we going to, like you said, how are we going to schematically play? I would love for us to just play man press, let our 4 guys get there. 4 guys, maybe it's a 5-guy rush, maybe it's a 6-guy every now and then on third down to kind of force the issue so they don't have time to make a 3rd and 18 completion or conversion. Something like that. It doesn't need to be crazy. I don't think it needs to be rocket science this week. It just needs to be my guys got to beat your guys because my guys should be better. Your guys were FedEx drivers. My guys were drafted in the 1st round. That should equal that we would win that matchup.
PNP says 5 guys sounds good. I'm sure it does to you. I'm sure 4 is not enough. You need the 5th guy. You know.
Hey, they should Bryce Young. Not Bryce Young. Sorry, C.J. Stroud this week should look like that couch image with the white girl and all the
bang couch, whatever.
Well, yeah, whatever it is. That's what it should look like in the backfield every passing snap. Like it should never. They shouldn't get stonewalled. Is my point. But who knows? I mean, there's creative ways to work around things. But at some point, your guys are just not good enough, right? 3rd string, 4th string guys. That's when you kind of reach that point.
You know, but if I'm the Texans, I'm not giving this Bucs defense any respect. You know, we've just let people just run us ragged between the 20s and just sat back there and tried to play, I guess, red zone football. I don't know. I don't even know what this defense is. I can't. There's not even a name for this style.
It's called bend, don't break, don't score in the red zone.
I guess that's what it is. I don't know. We're holding teams to a low enough point total. So
thank you, Jonas. Thank you, Matt.
Maybe Todd is just okay with that. It's not going to matter if our offense can't, sustain some drives and put some points up. Can we get some explosive plays? Can we get some run after catch? Can we get something to tighten up, or loosen up, I should say, these defenses who are, I guess they're playing a mix of coverages, but they seem to be pressing up on us quite a bit and challenging our quarterback to make tight throws, and that's what we should be doing to opposing offenses as well. They're going to do it. We should also be doing it out there, and it's time for Baked and everybody else around them to step up. It's time for Canales to put together a game plan where we are scheming some guys open. Can we have a couple easy plays on offense? I'd love to see that shit. It can't always be so difficult to move the football. I'd love to see our run game get rolling, right? Canales really, really wants that. I think he goes to sleep at night, and all he does is pray to the run guys because he really, really, really wants to run the ball here in Tampa, even though our O-line just doesn't have it for whatever reason.
They kind of look like so back to the defense real quick before I forget.
Yep.
With all that we're saying, we're just being critical of the defense. But with all that being said, Stank, we can agree that they've done more than enough, in my opinion, to win every one of the games that we've been in, other than the Eagles game, in my opinion. At the second half, they kind of fell apart. But even to an extent there, the third quarter is still a close game. But the defense is doing enough. They're holding teams under 20 points.
I don't see that. That's where I see things differently. They're
doing enough.
You can focus on the score at the end of the game, but that's not indicative of how badly Buffalo, if they
I agree
on
with
the pedal. They could have beat us, right?
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying for the majority of these games, they've done enough if the offense just does their part. And so there's tons to be critical of. They're not good on third down. They need to get some stops. They need to force more 3-and-outs. They need to get more interceptions, in my opinion. They need to flip that field position more often for our offense because they need help on that side of the ball. But with all that being said, I still think they're doing enough. But the other side of the ball is kind of where the majority of the issues are for me. But going into this game, Stank, you touched a little bit on what you think they should be doing. What do they need to do to win this game from the offensive and from the defensive standpoint? What do you think you need to see for them to come away with a W? Because it is a must-win. We've agreed to that.
Quick start, right? We'd love to play complementary football. That involves getting up on the opposing team early and allowing your defense to kind of dictate to them so your pass rushers can pin their ears back because you know they got to score points, right? Teams do that shit to us all the time, make us one-dimensional. That's what you want, right? If you're going to play the small ball style of offense where you're not just slinging it around everywhere and trying to outscore teams, then you need to have some advantages, and we haven't put ourselves in those situations too often. So offense needs to come out with some confidence. Fuck swagger, just score points. I don't care who does it. I don't care what, we don't throw it to Mike, throw it to Chris, throw it to fucking Trey Palmer. I don't really care, Kate. I don't care. Just get in the end zone. Let our defense make some stops so we can start putting pressure on the Texans to get desperate. And then we might be able to put, a burger up on them or something. I know that's a lot to ask for, right? Because we haven't even, cracked 20 this season, or we haven't very often.
You want a whole burger, dude? We haven't even gotten buns yet. You want a whole burger? Yeah, but you know what?
I'm greedy. I'm a greedy dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm greedy. I'm sick of just getting what they're giving me. I'm sick of the cafeteria style dinner. I want to fucking take what I'm hungry. I need to eat. All right. It's bullshit over here. I'm fucking starving. Have you seen how emaciated I look? I'm starting to look like fucking Tom Brady's fucking stupid short brother.
The offense is not bringing the food to the table. I get it. They're serving up empty trays right now. I'm with you. And you know how I think they could do some of that stuff you talked about, man? Come out, and if we're on defense, give me a 3-and-out to start the game.
Yeah.
Give me a 3-and-out and put your offense in a good field position for the first time this season.
Yeah.
After the other team starts with the ball, right? It's so often if we don't let them score on that first drive, they at least get to the 40 to 50-yard line. We're pinned when we start. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Defense, if you start this week, 3-and-out. Right off the bat, start quick, 3-and-out, punch them in the mouth, get off the field. Now it's the offense's turn. You know what I want to see from the offense? Start and hurry up. Give me some tempo. They should have been practicing tempo this entire week for their scripted plays to start this game. Give me some tempo. Force the defense of the Texans to kind of just stay vanilla, sit back, get tired, and just force the issue, force it down the throat, get an easy touchdown, steal a score to build that momentum. Build that confidence. Just like you tell your kids in basketball, get an easy layup. See the ball go in the hole. Let's see the ball move down the field, get into the end zone on the first fucking possession, yeah? And then go from there. Build off of that. Little baby steps. This is not a great Texans team. They're not a bad Texans team, though. But they are still a young Texans team with a new head coach and a lot of new pieces and a lot of young pieces and a lot of not good pieces on top of that on the offensive line. So start fast. You took that right out of my mouth, dude. But on the defensive side, Stank, I need these guys to play big. I need them to be bullies out there. You want to be a good defense and a great defense, and you want people to talk about you as a top 5 unit and a championship unit and a playoff unit? Here's your time. You're against a team that is not a formidable opponent in the Texans on offense. Go out there and bully them. Absolutely bully them. Don't even let them get in a body shot. Just nonstop. Keep them on the ropes. Just go at them, bully basically go
but have you done that all season? Have we even shown that we have?
We did against the Saints. We bullied the Saints. I know what's in these guys.
Bitches, though. That's easy.
Doesn't matter. Listen,
all you got to do is like throw your hand up backwards, and they're like, That's different,
I know,
bro. Because
this is the team you should bully.
We've created a culture there. We've created a culture in New Orleans where you don't even need to put your hands on them. Like they just cower as soon as violence, and so no other teams respect us like that except for those pieces of shit.
But Stank. That's when you can punch the hardest, when they're not expecting it.
Oh,
go in there and be an absolute bully, whether they expect you to be a bully or not. And you know what? How it's going to shock these guys. They're going to be like, "Whoa, I thought the Bucs had rolled over." I guess not. These guys are going to bully the fuck out of us today. We're not going to have lunch money. They're going to take our lunch money. They're going to eat our lunch. Then they're going to throw the tray in our face. That's what I need to see from this defense. Be an absolute dog out there. And you know what? At that point, if it doesn't work on the offensive side, I'll respect the defense. All right, we did it what we're supposed to do against a team that we're supposed to do that against on the other side of the ball. The offense at that point, I mean, we gotta have to have a talk. Gotta have a talk there. Not sure whose fault at that point, but we'll see how it plays out. But the other thing, Stank, penalties. Got to talk about penalties.
Yeah, we can talk about penalties. Yeah, when you're asking your offense to go 17 plays to score every series, you're gonna make mistakes. especially on the road. So how about not doing that, right? How about not asking so much out of your offense, making the margin for error high always. Just clearly their asses are as tight as an asshole can be. There's no baby oil right now. Everything is dry. It's just chalky as fuck.
Dry.
Really super dry. We all know that moisture is the answer here. Well, you can't go out there just ashed up, just flaking everywhere.
They're chafing before the first possession.
You know how chafed this offense looks right now. Like,
chafed.
Yeah, you ever seen a close-up of SpongeBob? You ever seen that close-up photo of how dry and crusty he is?
That's the inner thighs of this offense right now.
Yeah. And
people ask, what is the identity of the Bucs offense? Chafed. That is the offensive identity of the Bucs right there.
Yeah.
Chafed. We need to get some baby oil in there. We got to lubricate this offense.
We haven't even talked about baby oil all season. That's how dry it's been. And normally every episode I'm either drinking it, we're talking about it. And right now, I don't know if it's the weather or what it is. I'm itchy. All right. I'm super itchy. I feel crusty.
My elbows don't feel right. I'll be honest. My elbows don't feel right. You don't need a loofah. You just use your other arm. That's how chafed and crusty you are right now, right?
That's true. That's true. You don't have pores, so you don't understand how it is.
We need some moisturizer
for a normal human and not AI or whatever you fucking are, bro, we do. We need that moisture to keep us going.
It's like oil. It's like oil on robots.
Which I banned, by the way. So I can't use oil. I banned it. Maybe I can't even pull baby oil out right now because we fucking banned it. It's the worst week ever not to fucking be able to use oil when we're so fucking dry. Jeez.
But you know what? We had that mini bye week though. So from like Friday all the way to Sunday, they should have been oiling up, right?
Did you see Canales' press conference today? Not attractive. He didn't look good. He had bags under his eyes.
Didn't have any moisture to his skin. It didn't look healthy. You know what? But I like that. That means this guy's losing sleep. And if my coach is losing sleep, that means he's also feeling it. It means he understands that we got problems. He's got to dedicate less time to his wife and family and less time to some inspirational quotes on Twitter and more time to actually getting his head in the playbook, figuring out some better sequencing of plays, better play calling, better execution from a coaching standpoint all the way down for his offense. I like it.
You're totally right.
I like it a lot.
Who likes a peppy fucking coach, bro? I want to see Belichick type of fucking like.
I don't need you to be our friend, bro. I know you.
Right. Hey, listen, Joshy Q. Why don't you give me 5 fucking breakdowns of Canales' press conference, all right? That's what I need to see. I want to see week 1 versus week 9 or whatever the fuck week we're in right now, okay? Right now, you got to see that the energy is different. He came in there and tried to fake it at first, didn't he? He came in there and was like, no. We know you ain't sleeping, Davey. We know you're not sleeping. You already look like you aged quite a bit. And that's what I need to see out of the coach. So maybe there is some promise going into this week against the Texans because, I didn't like that fucking whatever that teenager, Instagram energy he's been bringing to the table. Get that shit out of here.
No, we don't need it. And you know what? We haven't seen it. So that's what I like about it. That's what I'm saying. Like he's obviously not getting his sleep. I know his wife is upset at him. He's not giving her proper loving because he's deep in his playbook. He's trying to figure this out. He's trying to fix this. So I give him respect. And just for the record, I do like Dave Canales. I like what he's doing. I understand what the long-term vision of this team is going to be. But right now, you got to simplify some stuff, man. You got to make it easier for your guys. You got to give them answers. Give Baker answers. Give Mike answers. And you know what? We can pretend that it's difficult, and it's a very difficult job. We're not going to pretend that this is Pee Wee football, coaching up little kids and whatnot. It is difficult to be a good play caller in the NFL. But when you have a Mike Evans and you have a Chris Godwin and you have a quarterback who should be able to throw a slant, you can figure out ways to get the ball to these guys. And that's kind of 50% of the equation. I want 8 targets for Mike Evans this week. I don't care. I want 8 targets. If 2 of them are picked off, that's fine. I'll be happy with it. At least I know I tried to give the ball to my best player. That's what I want to see. And you know what? Another thing? Whatever we were doing with Rachaad White against the Bills was working.
Yeah.
Do it some more. Do it more. Yeah. Do it more and do it some more and do it some more on top of that.
Complain about this rotation, which makes no sense. Like you want to save Rashad for the second fucking half of the game when we're out of it, or you're not going to be running the ball and you obviously make him one-dimensional too. Run that dude and run him often. And if he gets tired, run him some more. How about that? This is new school football. This is analytics football. Like, this guy should get 3.6 carries per breath of cup.
None of that,
dude.
No.
Okay, this is stop. listen, stop bubble wrapping guys. Let them get out there. Let them take some damage. A guy like Rashad needs punishment. He needs to get a feel for the game. We talked about that. Continue to feed him the ball. I see people's opinion of Rashad just wave, right? Like one week, they're like, he's the worst guy ever. We need to trade for, and then next week they're like, you know what? Maybe Rashad does have it. We all know what Rashad does very, very well. He's been a good receiver since the beginning. He's great in the open field. He's not a quick twitch, slashing type running back. He needs a little bit of time, a little bit of push to get going. He's a vision guy, but that's not what our offense can produce right now. And you can blame the scheme and say, oh, he doesn't know the zone run scheme very well. No, but the truth is we don't block the zone run scheme very well. And I think a former center of ours who was in your DMs, you and him talk all the time, a former Buccaneers, guy who played with Tom Brady here locally, happens to be on like the biggest sports show on the planet, came to you and said, what he sees what we're trying to do, but we're not doing it very well.
No, not doing a very good job. You know the thing too, man? Rashad is not Warwick Dunn. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not Barry Sanders to where he could be standing still. No. You put the ball in his belly and he's boom, 60 miles an hour right off he's not that guy. And that's not to say he's not fast, but he needs a little bit of momentum. He needs to be running downhill when the ball hits his belly. He can hit the hole. He'll have a little bit of time to kind of assess the situation on a stretch run or a toss, things of that nature where he's in space and he can find the hole. And we've seen it time and time again when he catches that ball. The first guy misses. He makes the first guy miss. He more often than not makes 15 or 10 yards out of a 2-yard pass or a throw or a gain. He knows how to move the ball and be effective in the passing game. And then against the Bills, we saw him create space and run through the hole and be aggressive and actually get more run blocking, and he produced on the ground too. Let's just give him the ball more. You can't say we need to have a better run game, but then you give this guy 7 carries and you give another guy 2 and another guy 3. What do you expect to happen? That's like a 3-point shooter. You can't just have him shoot 1 or 2 times and say, well, I guess he was cold. You got to get him warm. And the running backs are like one of the only guys on a football team that you just have to get him warm. Quarterback as well, too, I think. And that kind of leads back to what I was saying, get some answers. If you think Baker's struggling, if you see what he's not doing well, if you see that he's gun shy, if you see that he's feeling pressure or he's trying too hard, call some easy plays. Get him in rhythm. Do what Jimbo Fisher used to do for Jameis in college. Get him some easy, no decision type throws that he can just get him out of his hands, get him in rhythm, get him in feeling good about himself. This team is operating on the offensive side of the ball with zero confidence. And that to me speaks to coaching. If they look like they're not confident, you as a coach got to fix that, man. That may not be scheming. That may not be penalties. That just is confidence. That's figure out a way to get them to feel good about themselves. This is a team that you could do that against. I think we're primed for that, but the PTSD side of Stank is going to tell me, well,
I'm actually going to speak to Real Bucs Talk in the chat said have to spread teams out to run the ball, 6 men or less in the box. Yeah, we talked about this before. You want to bring hats to the party. Problem is and we have recently, we've gone empty quite a few times. We did it fucking from the 8-yard line, 4 straight plays or 3 straight plays or whatever it was. I think that's where you could really criticize Baker. Although there's not a whole lot of guys open and not a ton of intermediate and underneath routes, there are enough, but he's getting greedy. His eyes are downfield. He is kind of looking and staring down receivers. Sometimes he's not getting through his progressions. I don't think that Baker understands how Mike Evans is always open. He's not a guy who's going to get a ton of separation from the corner, but you need to just trust that, get it in the area, and he's always going to come down with the ball or more often than not, he's going to physically come down and manhandle the corner. I don't think he's comfortable with doing that yet either.
He's a guy that you've got to let him make a play on the ball. That's just his skill set. He's like an NBA player or a basketball player where you just got to throw that ball in there and let them make a play. And I agree with you on that. But running out of spread is why make it difficult? If you know they're going to try to stop you and they know what you're going to do and you're going to bring more guys to the box, spread them out. They can't leave everyone open, right?
The funny thing is,
they can't.
We have tried to run the draw out of spread a couple times and Hainsey gets destroyed, and we still get a tackle for a loss, which
but Stank
to me.
They do it. But they do it in such predictable moments. They do it at times where you're like, oh, this is definitely going to be a draw. Like, I'm calling it, and I'm at home, or I'm in the stands. Like, I shouldn't be able to call your plays as a fan, regardless of how well-versed or non-well-versed I am. And I'm saying I'm definitely not well-versed. I'm just calling the plays because I understand it's second down, they're probably going to run the ball.
That's where I think the criticism of Canales is warranted. Nobody's off of balance. I don't know what goes into being a NFL play caller, but I do know that, the good ones, man, they always keep you guessing. As much as I hate Sean Payton and his stupid fucking face, that dude was a master at just finding the rhythm and always just being a step ahead of the defense. Whether it be with the screen game, we talked about this before, and I think it's a really good comparison. You got to have a short quarterback, right? In New Orleans, Sean designed an offense that married Drew Brees' skill set perfectly, and Drew's a savant, right? The guy, quick twitch, could get the ball out of his hands really, really quick. But man, did they ever have answers and lots of options for Drew to do that, and I just don't see it here. We talked about this, and I'll continue to talk about this. First read throws, where are they? Where the fuck are they? Yes,
they're there. That's the thing. NFL, they're there. They're there. But all of a sudden now Baker's not pulling the trigger.
If Baker's not pulling the trigger, there's probably a reason for it, though.
That's what I'm saying. Something has changed.
We can't pretend we know what that reason is. I don't know what the reason is. You don't know what the reason is. I don't give a fuck how many subscriptions.
I don't need to know the reason
you have.
I don't need to know the reason.
Nobody really knows the reason unless you work inside that building. It's not all Baker's scared to throw the fucking football. That's not necessarily always the case. And we talked about this too. Just because a quarterback's head's pointed one way doesn't mean the first read isn't in another location. So I don't fucking know. I'm not going to try to pretend like I fucking know either. That's ultimately, going back to my original point, I don't care anymore. I don't care to get in the argument and try to act like I'm smarter than anybody else. I just don't care. I just want to see it work better. And this is a team we all feel like we should beat. Let's go fucking beat them. We're not talking about this dumb shit anymore.
The thing you brought up with Sean Payton is good because Sean Payton, I hate him, dude. I cannot stand that guy. I don't ever like I'll never ever be able to see him face to face and not hit him in the face. Right? Yeah. But he was so good at figuring out answers for his team almost a quarter ahead of time. His scripted plays, not only were they scripted to get the team down the field, but they were to get him answers for the rest of the game so he knew what your game plan was, what your approach was, what you were going to do in certain situations, so he knew how to set you up later. His play calls from that point forward were to set you up for the layers and the layers and the wrinkles beyond that throughout the rest of the game. So he was playing 3D chess when you're still taking out the checkers.
Yeah, and it's a little bit unfair to compare him to one of the better call players of all time, but you need to have
you got to get to a point
here, right? Because you are a NFL offensive coordinator now. This, unfortunately, you don't get time to learn your ABCs. You should already know them and come in with some of the answers to the test. You don't need to be a genius. Yeah. It would be nice if he was a savant, straight out the fucking gate, but he's not. Clearly, but the other thing, he will admit that. So,
but the other thing, Stank, you talked about Drew Brees. The one thing that I think that separated Drew Brees from all the other short quarterbacks is Drew Brees knew how to climb the pocket. He knew how to navigate the pocket. And more importantly, he knew how to create vision lines between the offensive linemen. He knew how to create and find the throwing, those little throwing tunnels between these linemen to where his balls didn't get batted down. You'd see him and you'd think he'd get more balls batted down than the average, but he didn't. Because he knew how to navigate.
Some of that's trusting your O-line and poise and
that was my next point.
And all those types of things. So maybe
he always had a good center.
Does not have that poise right now, and for good reason.
He doesn't have the trust. He doesn't have the trust right now. He doesn't have the trust in those three interior guys. If you want your short quarterback to play well, and I say short kind of with a grain of salt because I think that's a lot of bullshit most of the time, unless you're Bryce Young short, but you got to be able to put three guys in front of him that are always going to keep his lap empty. Drew Brees' lap rarely got disrupted. And if it did, he played terribly like most quarterbacks do. But he had enough protection in those three guys in front of him that he could climb the pocket. He could move around. He could find throwing angles. He could find lanes to throw the ball through to where he'd get the ball to his guys. And like you said, Sean Payton gave him a lot of easy answers. Right. Not college type easy, but NFL type easy, which is just enough. And I refuse to believe that you couldn't have put you could put a lot of guys in the system, in the 49ers system, the Dolphins system, even I think Drew Brees, or Peyton Manning system, or not Peyton Manning, Sean Payton system, with the right pieces around them, the offense works because he gives them answers. This week, we just need some answers, man. Give your guys some answers and figure out a way to win this game, because it is absolutely a win. A must win. I'm just on a couple comments, think, real fast before I forget. Watch more All 22 says, it is not indecisiveness. It's that the routes are being disrupted and the progression and the routes are misaligned. Frame by frame it, and it's clear. And earlier before that, he said the reason is the receivers aren't open when the progression hits. Massive part of the equation that people either ignore or refuse to use as a grain of salt when they break down film. Guys can get open, and they will be open on every NFL team's film.
Essentially.
It's when they get open that matters, right? If you're looking here and Mike is your first read and you've moved on and then he gets open, tough shit. He's open after, it doesn't matter at that point.
Well, that's rhythm and timing.
To do that.
It's as important as the play design, play call, and that's what defenses are supposed to do, right? Knock you off of your routes, try to, but
Baker still has to be better.
There's got to be an answer. There's got to be an answer for that, right? So if you see what the defense is doing to you, then have some. Again, no motion. So there's not really. You don't really have the ability to have guys switch up the recipe before the snap. And I don't know. I think preseason he talked about how this was a motion-based offense. Have we had an answer for why we have zero motion now? Outside of the occasional end around or something?
We had so much motion in the New Orleans Saints game. I said, this is what this offense is going to be in, and they're starting to get it, right? Then after the bye week, it's like the motion has gotten less and less and less, unless it's Chris Godwin. And then at that point, you're like, it's probably going to be a handoff, and then it is half the time, right? And so it's predictable. But listen, if Mike Evans is getting an unfavorable matchup, or Mike Evans looks like he's struggling, or he looks like he's frustrated, put him in motion. Force a guy who is not a cover guy to cover Mike Evans. You have a cover corner, you have a cover safety, you have a box safety. I think you and I talked about this, Stank. Make the other guy who's not accustomed to covering guys have to switch or have to communicate or have to take on that responsibility of Mike or Chris or whoever. And now you're forcing the defense to do things that you don't want them to do, and you can play to your guys' strengths. So, moving Mike is a massive part of it. We saw
Detroit motion the shit out of us all game long. They were constantly motioning guys and shifting formations, and they made it very, very difficult on us. Plus, they used tempo. So I get these maybe are advanced tricks for offenses that have more stability. Where guys know their roles more. Maybe we're asking too much. I don't think so, though. These guys are professionals, right? So
but at some point too, offenses have switches. When something happens, they click it. They have something that's kind of set up already. If you're going to get a corner blitz, I'm always going to do this. Josh Allen knew what to do once we changed how we were pressing, how we were in zone, how we were man, when we were blitzing. He had an answer kind of built into their system. They've been together for a long time, so it makes sense. They're vets. They make sense. So maybe some of that is something we shouldn't expect at this point. I don't know. It's week 9. This should be the offense at this point. We should have the majority of this thing swallowed, figured out, read through, installed, whatever you want to call it. We should know what we need to do. And I'd like to see them figure it out. And if they haven't, go simple. Simplify some things.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, though. I think that is the problem. And P&P said after the bye, somebody shut it down. The pre-snap motions, tempo, etc.
Something changed.
So the only thing I can think that a coach would be like, we're having too many penalties, right? Too many guys aren't getting set. We're having, too many false starts or whatever the fuck it is. So let's make it simplify. When you do that, then you probably do take out a lot of those plays and you cut your dick off at that point. Then you become, extremely predictable. There's got to be a balance between the two, right? There has to be. I saw in Canales' press conference today, like he was taking responsibility for the pre-snap penalty, saying maybe he's putting too much pressure on guys, but no, fuck that, man. To me, that's soft-ass coaching. Yeah. I get you want to fall on the sword for your guys, but no, Can you see BA saying some shit like that? No, that I'm not saying
you got to hold them
out by name, but
you got to hold them up here, and you got to make sure that they know you hold them up here.
Absolutely,
and you can say all you want about I'm a coach, I'm going to take it, it's my responsibility, but you can do that and still say, It's my responsibility. It starts
Yep.
at the top, but these guys also have to execute, and they're the ones on the field.
They have to.
If I ask you to stay in a stance for 5 seconds because my
Yep.
quarterback has to make adjustments, I don't give a shit. Don't tell me, oh, it's hard to hold that stance for 5 seconds. I don't care.
Agreed.
That's your job. That is your job. You have to do it. You don't get called for holding. Trey Palmer, if you've been called for the same holding penalty down the field, and even if it's not holding, do something differently. Do something differently. They're calling it on you. Whether you think it's a holding, whether I think it's a holding, does not matter. They think it's a holding. So change something. Talk to the rest before the game.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways to adjust. This whole notion that it's one way or the highway and you can get screwed by the other team. Like, everybody has the same exact starting point.
Yep.
It's up to you to get to a certain point. If you're a coach, you got to hold them to that level. I agree with you, Stink. 100%. Don't go soft. I'm asking too much of them? Dude, they're professionals.
Yeah, I agree.
They are pros.
I think we're under the microscope now, so every play, like the Trey Palmer ones, which the first one definitely wasn't holding, the second one, I guess, you can't even criticize a guy for doing that. The problem is we have such very little amount of success that those types of plays, when penalties are called, are magnified so much because we really just we can't fucking move the ball, bro. We can't score points. So it would be different if we, had 3 or 4 other drives that were successful, but it's the margin for error is so thin with this fucking team. It's scary. It's scary. It really is. Holy shit, we've got a fucking super chat.
Pelagic Computer 499, thank you so much. Against the Lions, bad pick, missed 3 to 4 wide open touchdowns, still pre-snap motion, boots, etc. After the game, it seems like someone neutered the offense.
Maybe,
maybe not. I don't know. The other point I was going to make beyond that is I've heard from a couple players in the NFL, not on the Bucs, through some people that I know who are friends with some guys who played the Bucs. And Gadecki was on a podcast with Ali Marpet, and he talked about how the Bills knew the snap count the entire game. And I heard the same thing from 2 other players on 2 other teams, that they knew not only the snap count that the Bucs were on, but they kind of knew the plays. They said that it was really predictable. We kind of knew what they were going to do, and they would run what we thought they were going to run the majority of the time. So here's the other thing. It seems like other teams get out of that huddle 10 seconds sometimes, right? 8 seconds. They've got time to sit there, take their time, make their checks if they have to. Whereas the Bucs, it's like almost every single snap is right at 1 or 0, to where the defense knows we're going to jump right here or there's going to be a delayed game. So it's extremely predictable from a snap count, from a pass rushing standpoint. But, like, you can't get creative when you get to the line of scrimmage and you only have 3 seconds. What are you going to do? You can't even run a motion if you're supposed to run a motion, because then it's going to be illegal procedure if you snap the ball. You got to get your guys set. You can't change the play. So that's another thing I think we need to do now that we've had this little mini bye week heading into this game. Can we please get the call in quicker? Put some wristbands on these guys. Figure it out. Get out of the huddle quicker. Get out of the huddle quicker. Not to be a faster tempo offense.
Just tempo, period. You can fluctuate.
Get set.
You can fluctuate tempo. You can
change snap count
on a given series.
And
Absolutely, you can. Yeah, have we drawn anybody off sides this year?
We don't even try. That's like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, John Elway, all these greats. Even Patrick Mahomes. Now, he's a great, obviously, but I'm saying it because he hasn't made the Hall of Fame yet. But these guys know when to change their cadence, when to change the snap count, and it's kind of just built into it. Hey guys, I'm going to go on 5 this time instead of 2, or whatever it is. And it catches you off guard. It keeps you on your heels as a defense. The defenses look too comfortable against the Bucs. And so in this game, I would like to see the Bucs get the Texans uncomfortable. They're a good defense. We're not going to score 30 points like somebody was asking here earlier. But you know what? It's not too tall a task to say that we should beat this team. And it's not too tall a task to say we should be able to move the ball and score enough points for us to win the game against this team. That's not that. I don't think that's a tall task, Stank.
No, and it's equally as apparent on the other side of the ball, where we're also not putting very much pressure on opposing offenses.
They're comfortable.
I think at the beginning of the year, you could really point your finger at just the offense and be like, the defense is playing their ass off, and putting all the blame on the offense. It's not that case anymore. Over the last 2 or 3 games, there's been a failure across the board, even on special teams at times. Whatever our kicker's name, missed a kick last week too. it's just infectious. It really is. And you want to hope that this is a get right game for us, right? You really do want to hope this is a get right game for us. I am pessimistic by nature, just as a human. I'm pessimistic. Call it PTSD. I don't know what it is.
I call it BTSD. I call it Bucs Traumatic Syndrome Disorder.
Stress disorder, syndrome
Stress
disorder.
disorder. Sorry.
Yeah,
Stress
yeah.
disorder.
Yeah, so I suffered from that since I was a child, and there's no fixing that. I've been to several different counselors. That's actually how I met Jonas Steckler. He was my counselor in Indonesia. I met him. Yogi, we did DMT ceremonies. It didn't fix it. So,
Fix it. All right.
Didn't fix it at all.
Week 9, we're in Houston.
Yep.
Coming off this mini bye week.
Yep.
Had a Thursday night clash with the Bills.
We did.
Had some good, more bad than good. Been on a 3-game losing streak. The Houston Texans are 3-4. Decimated offensive line. Mike Evans hasn't had himself a day for a very long time. Score prediction and bold take for this Sunday's matchup, Stank. Are we getting back on the winning track? Are we going to get some shit figured out? Are we going to start feeling good about the red and pewter we put on throughout the week? Or am I going to be able to pull out my victory shades? Because they're covered in dust. I almost wore them for this show just to kind of get some good juju going, right? What are we doing? What's your score prediction? And, of course, your bold take.
Man, this one's hard for me. It really is because...
You don't say that often.
Not for very long, it was.
No.
I want to be optimistic. I want everybody in the chat room to leave this episode feeling just great, right? Confident. We're going to get off the schneid, get on the right track. And I'm just going to ramble just for Cali Bucks. We're just going to do all the good things and not do all the bad things. So my score prediction, carry the one. I think the Bucks
Here we go.
don't quite get to the mark, the 31, the Buck number, right? But I think we do score more points than we have in previous weeks. I'm going to say Bucks 23. Defense gets off the bus, Houston 3. I think it's a resounding win for us. Defense stands on its head. Stroud, Bowles comes up with the game plan. He's sick of it. He knows his job's on the line. He's ripped everybody on that team a new ass, especially the defensive guys. The D-line just isn't doing enough. We're not getting pressure up front. I think it is a sack party. I know that'll get PNP really excited. Sacks to the face, sacks all over the place.
Sacks to the thighs, sacks to the ribs,
yeah,
sacks to the face.
We leave that town known for oil all greased up. Yep, that's my bold prediction. Yep,
I like that. How many sacks then?
6 sacks. Six sacks for the Bucs defense.
Sacks. I was gonna say 6 sacks. Sounds right. Get back on the sack way.
Sacks 6th Avenue.
Yeah.
That's going to be the headline for the next episode.
Sacks 6th Avenue. What if it's 7? Sacks 7th Avenue?
Nah.
Sacks 8th Avenue. That's a nice one. I like Sacks 8th Avenue.
I'm going to ask you the same question, Samurai Ali. What is your score prediction? And I need a bold prediction from you as well, sir.
I think this is the week that Todd says, you know what? I got to take the training bra off this entire team. I got to stop punting when we're in between the 40s. All right, I'm going to stop accepting the penalty when the other team tries to take a delay game and punt it against me and make me start within my 5, right? So I'm going to send these guys in there confident, aggressive, and I'm going to let Canales be aggressive. I think we figure some things out. This offensive line for the Texans is not going to hold up. I don't care how great their quarterback CJ Stroud is, who I'm a massive fan of as an NFL player, by the way, just because he is showing out and he's smart as hell and he's doing all the things he's not supposed to be doing as a rookie. So it's awesome to see, right? Big fan. But against this Bucs team with that offensive line, I'm with you. This is going to be a sack party. Absolutely going to be a sack party. And guess what? We are going to see a pick 6 in this game, Stank. We're going to see a pick 6 from a corner. A corner. A corner is going to get there. Carlton Davis is finally going to get himself an interception and take it to to the end zone. I know that's not something
we can be rowing some boats.
Yeah, CJ Stroud's not a guy to throw picks, but I think they're going to try to bait him. They're going to get him under a lot of pressure. He's going to make some bad decisions, in my opinion, and that's just from the front 4. Bucs win 26-8. They do give up a touchdown and a 2-point conversion at some point in this game, but I think it's 26-8. I think the Bucs go for some fourth downs and try to just be a little bit more aggressive and kind of just, like I said, just play ball, man. Go out there and have a little fun. This Texans team is not a team you can lose to. You are not supposed to lose this game. You have not disappointed me so far this season outside of once, Bucs. Once against the Falcons. And that, like I said, that's the minimum I can ask of a team. Do not disappoint me by losing the games you're supposed to win. And I think we're in that scenario here again. Get back on track. The defense, or not the defense, the division is still easily had. You know, the Saints lost. The Falcons look like garbage again. The Falcons don't even know where they're playing at quarterback now. It's like they're playing Heineke. So this team is still in a good position. Got to win the ones you're supposed to win. Starts with this Sunday. Let's go in there and absolutely shock the Houston Texans who think they're getting a cakewalk, because they're not. The Bucs are going to be ready. I think the Bucs are going to be ready. Pelagic Computer 499 super chat says, "Get right week, Bucs 20, Houston 17." Ugh, that's terrible. Baker for 279, 2 tutties, and 0 interceptions. 1 to Evans, 1 to Otten. LVD with an interception, and seriously, mute Stank. You know what, too? The other thing I was going to touch
just
on.
Just because I told everybody your affinity for sacks. Don't get mad at me.
Mike Evans is going to have himself a Mike Evans day, I think. It's overdue. I don't see anybody on the Texas defense that should be able to match up with him or Chris Godwin, honestly. But I think they're going to understand, hey, maybe behind closed doors, Mike said, hey, nudging Dave, hey, listen, I know you're not the guy, and I'm not really that dude that, makes waves, but can you throw me the fucking ball? Can you just call some plays for me? Just, I'm always open. And they probably went over to Baker and said, hey, listen, I know you're, I know you're the guy, and you got a lot of moxie.
You sound very Trumpish right now. Hey,
but
I know you're the guy.
Can you throw me the fucking ball? If he tells you not to, just still throw it to me. I'm always open. And he probably slipped him a little game tape from the Jameis days where he said, Jameis should just throw it to me all the time. Listen, Jameis threw 30 fucking million interceptions, and he also threw me the ball 800 times a game, even when I wasn't open, and even when he shouldn't have thrown him. So I just want you to do a little bit of this. And he showed it to him. He's like, hey, well, I didn't know you could catch the ball up in the air like that. Yeah, I could do a lot of that stuff. And I think this is a game. I think this is a game that Mike Evans gets back on the Mike Evans track. We need it, man. I think we need it. He's like the Mike Allstott of this team. You notice that? When he's rolling, the entire team just feels more energized.
Yeah, he is the leader of this football team. He's the face of the team. When Mike is rolling, the Bucs are rolling. And I hope Mike is rolling, because I want to see that defense start to roll. I want to see that energy out there. I want to see Shaq Barrett have a Shaq Barrett type game, because we know he's capable of just dominating when feeling right. But you need help, right? You can't just be the one-man show on that defensive line. So, Vita's got to be playing well. Hopefully the young Rook, Cansey in the middle, starts to dominate like we know he can. Maybe JTS has one of those games where you're like, oh shit, I forgot JTS has some skill, right? Maybe it's Yaya's coming out party. I just want to see that group up front.
See a little bit of Dennis. Let's see if Servassier gets.
Maybe Servassier gets to pour something out, right? Maybe 4-5 gets in the mix with a little bit of blitz to just excite him, since he just looks like he don't even want to be out there, right? He's like, okay, I got one of my horses.
Maybe somebody can get 45.
Maybe somebody can get
45 to get live. They need to turn on the Get Live sign on the Get Live 45 stables. That's what it is. I think that's what's happening. He forgot to turn on the damn open sign. They are not Get Live because the sign's been off.
He needs to turn that sign on and come back to life. 4-5.
Resuscitate 45. Not even Get Live. Just get interested 45. Let's see some of that. Let's see, get interested 45. Hey, all of you in the chat, you guys are awesome tonight. I've been reading them all, trying to, I've been absorbing them while I'm talking, while Stank's talking. You guys have been awesome. And for those of you listening as well, and not saying anything and watching, but please hit us with a like. And if you are new, smash the subscribe button. And for those of you who don't know, you can also listen to us the day after we do our live streams on here, on iTunes and on Spotify. And if you are a listener, please give us a thumbs up. Give us a ranking. Give us 4 or 5 stars.
Greg DeCruz with the 11 American cents super chat.
Yeah. Thank you for the. I don't know what that even.
It cost me more to push the button than whatever you just donated.
He basically just threw some coins into a fountain at the mall.
Don't they have like holes in their money and shit? Canadians?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't go to Canada.
I know
I
it's
have no
basically
reason.
a communist country, though. I do know
I
that.
have no reason to be in Canada. They have countries inside of their country. It makes no damn sense. And inside of them, they're called provinces, and then they have French names. And some places they don't speak French. And they got mooses, who, by the way, are massive animals. Have you ever seen a moose next to a human, Stank? I thought it was like the size of a reindeer or a horse. Nah, this thing's a fucking dinosaur.
I've
It's a
never
dinosaur
seen
covered in
moose in
fur.
person.
Nah, dude, yeah, they are terrifying. Like, they make camels look like little ponies, basically. It is not. They're definitely aliens. So Canada has been housing aliens since the dawn of time. They know it. We know it. It's obvious. Anyway, you guys out there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and check us out on YouTube if you haven't. In the meantime, we'll see you guys after the game. We will be doing a live stream on Bleacher Report app, so make sure you're on the Bleacher Report app and you have the Bucs selected as your favorite team, and you can watch us react.
McGriddle's on me, Mr. fucking Burns from Simpsons.
From The Simpsons. Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Burns. Excellent. Has sent us $5 for a McGriddle. Thank you so much. I don't know what that really is. Is that a McDonald's thing?
I don't know.
Or is that like a griddle to... I don't think $5 is going to buy us a griddle.
I think it is. I think it's a breakfast sandwich at McDonald's. I think.
Well, there you go. There you go. There you go. All right.
Thanks, man.
Well, I'll give that to somebody, I guess. All right. Anyway, in the meantime, we'll see you guys after the game on the Bleacher Report app, and of course next week. Go Bucs.
Deuces.
Welcome to Tampa Bay.